Alright guys, everybody, welcome back. Josh with Josh's Lawn and Landscape. So I'm here in the shop and I'm going to go over a couple things with the 920 and some other stuff we got going on. So turn the camera around, let you know what's going on. So I want to give a big shout out to all my new subscribers and everybody who's taking out the time to watch. Appreciate it. And here's what we got going on. So we got the 920 in here, you can see. And I mentioned the other day that I did find a seat to replace this for aftermarket, from an aftermarket company, purchased through eBay, and it's here. So you can see here's the seat that we've got. It's pretty heavy, sturdy base, and it's got a flip out crank to raise and lower your seat cushion, so you can just rotate it to soften it up and then close your handle. And so we got going on. Not sure what the wire is for. Maybe to hook to the battery or solenoid. So I'm not completely sure about that, but looks like it'll be a good seat. So we got that going on. That's what we got. I'm gonna try to get it put on. I think what we can do is reach down here, and what it should be is just simply take these 4 nuts loose, take the old seat off, line the bolts up on the bottom of the new seat in the holes, and put the 4 nuts back on the studs on the new seat, and that should be it. So obviously this seat's a good bit heavier with the suspension base on it, but we'll see how it goes. And then once we get that done, a couple other things is I've got the service parts for the 920. So spark plugs, fuel filter, oil filter, outer air filter, the John Deere Turf Guard oil, which is what I run. And then I've also got to do an oil change in my 2500 HD. So I run the Mower 1 full synthetic 5W30 for my rig. So that's what that is there. So I got that to do, and then we'll get this done, and I've actually got some mowing to go do, so we'll try to get some footage of that as well. So that's what we got going on. And I just sharpened and put a set of blades on the Toro last night. No footage of that, but it does have freshly sharpened blades on it. So, and I've got an extra set sharpened back by the grinder or the vise where I sharpen everything at. So y'all stick around. Well, y'all, as you can see, the old seat is still on the Z. So we had an issue with the new seat. Well, the first issue was this bolt was actually beat all up on the end of it, boogered up. So what we had to do was take a die and actually re-thread it, clean it up. So we got it cleaned up, and now the issue that we're having is this plate here is about what my finger's touching, maybe a little somewhere right in there from my fingernail to the edge, too wide to go in between these ridges. You can see where this is raised up here on the frame. So the seat will not sit down on that plate. So I'm either going to have to cut the lip off of this and just cut it flat to match just where the seat can sit on it, or possibly return this seat and see if I can purchase another suspension seat for the Z-Track. So Not real sure what I'm going to do yet. Let me know what y'all think. It's always something, everybody. So maybe I get some mowing footage. We're going to try to load up and maybe go cut one big yard, get the Toro and everything loaded up. So y'all stick around and maybe we'll be back to do some maintenance. Alright, y'all. So got the service done on the John Deere. We did the oil filter, air filter, fuel filter, and the spark plug. So that's my 100-hour service. I do that every 100 hours, and then every 50 hours it gets the oil, just an oil change. So basically every other oil change it gets the full run up. So got that. It's good to go. Got it loaded back on the trailer. So just kind of let me know what your thoughts are on the seat. Basically I got two options. I can either return the seat and try to find another aftermarket seat to fit, or I can simply take Sawzall maybe and a cut-off grinder and just cut enough of that lip out on either side for the plate to fit in. There's no structural use for the mower itself with that plate. It's just a flip-up plate that the seat sits on. So I think it's sturdy enough to be able to do that. But y'all let me know what y'all think. If it's something y'all would do, or would y'all try to return the seat and maybe find another one. So I got this seat for about $450. Like I said before, the John Deere seat is about $1,300 to $1,500, and I really don't think I want to pay that. So, but I want a suspension seat. So there's a number of other ones out there, I think, that I saw while searching after this one came in, that say that they're supposedly a universal fit. I have to do some more research, but kind of thinking I might just kind of grind those ridges off and use this seat. So let me know what y'all think. And not much to this video, just a simple discussion about the seat and the issues I'm having with it. And so I'm going to get the strap put on the mowers and drop my trailer so I can pull the 2500 in here. Got to do an oil change on it, so it's ready to go. So again, let me know what y'all think about the seat. Thank y'all for taking the time to watch, and if you haven't yet, like, subscribe, check out some of my other videos, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, y'all. Alright, everybody, welcome back to Josh and Josh's Lawn and Landscape. Just a quick video this evening. A couple quick things. First of all, the X590. We believe that we have the deck issue straightened out, and we still got the seat issue there. But what we've got is, and John Deere carries this, is a cut gauge, and I just had not seen one of these in a while, but I have seen one a long time ago. And what this is made for is to sit on the floor, and basically you measure off the front side of the blade when it's straight forward, get you a good level spot, measure the front side of the blade, and it should measure close to your cutting height that you've got to set on. So you would drop the deck and measure the front of the blade here, and then it recommends that you turn that tip of that blade to the back 180 degrees and then measure it off the back, and it should be within 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. And that gives you just a little bit of down slope, and that's how they recommend to achieve your best cut. So we did that on both sides, and actually had to bring the front of this deck up about 1/2 inch or a little more. So the deck was kind of just sitting, kind of, if you're looking across the deck, just kind of cattywampus, I guess you would say. So my father-in-law took it out the next day after we did it the other night, and it seemed to be cutting good. So I think we've got that figured out with the X590. So this is a lot better tool to measure properly for your cut height than this deck leveling gauge. So that's what they recommend at one of our dealers. So you can still use the deck leveling tool for your portholes here that actually raise each side of the deck on the back side, so use that a little bit. It's an 18mm wrench and socket for loosening and adjusting the front, the little U-bracket on each side. So, believe that we got this straightened out. It cut pretty good the other day here at my father-in-law's place, where he cut with it, and so hopefully we got that straightened out. So that's what we did. We actually purchased this from the John Deere dealer and used it to measure off the blades rather than the deck itself, and it seems to have fixed the problem. So we'll see shortly. We'll probably take it back out on a yard or two and just get some different conditions with it and see how it's doing. So update on the 590, update on the seat issue, and the only one thing I got to check is to take the old seat off of the 920, and just with the plate set down like it would be sitting on it, just set this seat down and make sure that there's no issues with it fitting armrest and everything down in between the tanks. I'm pretty much 100% sure there won't be, but just to verify. And then what we're going to end up doing is actually taking the die that I had to clean this one thread up with and just do all the other three, so all the threads are the same. And I went to a Fastenal's place and got these, what they call coupling nuts. It's kind of like spacers, but they're threaded all the way through, and this will thread up onto the stud on the bottom of the seat, and then we will run these bolts through from the bottom to anchor it down. So basically just adding a spacer in there. We'll probably have to cut the studs off on the seat just a little bit and then thread them. So that's what we're going to do there. And then we've got some lock washers, flat washers, and the nuts to go on them. So that's what we're going to be doing. And that should remedy the seat problem, just like, as long as we make sure that it fits down in there. So that's that update on the seat situation. So I think we got that. I've got that figured out. We've got that figured out, my father-in-law and I. So going to check that in the next few days, and then once we get it mounted, we'll do a quick little video just to show where everything's installed and working properly. So that's the updates on the X590 with the issues with the cut and the deck. I think we got that worked out, and also with the seat situation, having to just do a few little tweaks and kind of fabricate, just simply for the way that seat bracket works on the John Deere. So this is just some updates, like I said again, to some previous footage at the beginning of this video. So this is kind of a two-part video altogether. So hope you like it. Hope some information was helpful. If anybody's had that issue with the 590, hopefully that all the information that I've put out and what we've done to it helps you. And if anybody has a John Deere Z-Track that doesn't have a suspension seat and wants to order an aftermarket seat, you can find there's a number of them on eBay. And just to know that you may have to do a little bit of fabricating or adjusting, but it can work. So that's what we got going on. We got some other little projects going on with one of my little trucks and some other stuff, but just want to do a quick update video with everything that's going on. And again, I appreciate everybody watching, and hope you enjoyed it. And again, thank everybody that has subscribed to the channel. I've gotten 3 or 4 new subscribers in the last couple of days. I think I'm up to big 235, so I'm working my way up the ladder. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all, and thank y'all for taking the time to watch. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications for future content down the road, and we'll catch you on the next one, everybody. Be safe out there. Alright, so you can see we got the 920 back in here, got the seat up. Fixing to take this off and see if we can get this fabricated in for the new seat. Now what we had to do on this was these studs were actually threaded on a 5/16 20 thread, and the nut that come off of this seat and the coupling nuts, these right here, that I've got are a 5/16 on an 18 thread, which is not quite as fine a thread, so the bolts or the coupling nuts and stuff wouldn't go on it. So these studs do line up with the plate, as I mentioned before. But what we're going to do is, I think we're going to have to just cut a little bit off of each of these studs, and then what we will do is run one of these coupling nuts. What we'll probably do is cut them off, I don't know, maybe about halfway, somewhere around in there, and then when we'll run this coupling nut down on it, as you can see, got it threaded. And what we did, or what I did, was simply run a die, 5/16, 18 die on each one of them, and just re-threaded it all the way down. So it fits my 5/16, 18 coupling nut. So I can thread that down on there, but I'll probably run it down somewhere around halfway, something like that. So what we'll have to do is cut a little bit off, so that when this spacer here, this coupling nut, is about the same height as this lip right here that I was mentioning earlier in the video. So this lip, where that plate is catching up here, that coupling nut is about this high. So what I want to do is just have enough of that stud to run the coupling nut up against the plate on the seat, and then when I set it down where the plate sits about right here on top of this ridge like it normally would, and then I've got a 5/16 hex bolt to run back up through this plate into that coupling nut from this side, run it up in here, and then just tighten it down till it is secured. So that's kind of the fabrication that we're doing with the seat. And I believe what we're going to have to do is take this wire, which I believe I figured out is the seat wire, just to know that someone's in the seat. And as you can see where it's running into the seat here, so it's probably got a pressure switch in it. So what I'm probably going to have to do is just take these and snip these wires off and actually splice to the wires on this plug that lets you know that the seat is there. So we'll probably cut this off like a pigtail, so that if we have to put it back if something goes wrong, we can. And that way it'll run to the seat switch that's in the new seat, to the wire that lets the ignition know that somebody's sitting in the seat and it can start. So we'll see how it works. If it don't work, then we'll just have to back up and punt. But I think we got it figured out, and we'll be back. Quick add in, what I'm going to do real quick is actually, you see I got the plate put back down, got the old seat off. So we got the plate setting down so we can set the seat down. So I'm going to take the new seat, pick this thing up, set it down in here and kind of line it up with the holes where it would sit, and just make sure that we have plenty of clearance. We should have, it's been measured, just to double check, verify before we get too far along, and make sure that this is going to fit in between the tank, or in between the body part panels here on the mower. So the last time we got to check, just want to throw that in there, and we'll check, make sure it fits, and be right back. So as you can see, it is in. We've got plenty of clearance. Sits up, got a nice suspension to it. So all we've got to do now is just adjust for the mounting, and we'll get it locked in and take it for a spin. Alright, so you can see we got our couple of nuts on there. You can see down there got the studs cut off, so we can run our bolt up through the bottom and use some Permatex thread locker, just because there's a lot of vibration and bouncing in this. So just want to make sure that none of this stuff comes loose, especially when I put the bolts up through the bottom of the seat frame. So that's what I'm going to do next, and once I get it mounted, going to possibly do a bypass on the seat switch. Maybe just snip this off back here so that I can put it back on there if I need to be later. But I think this will work. Just snip it here, and I'll either run it to these wires to see if it works, because it does have a 2-wire setup here, and if that's the case, I'll just leave it, and if it ever goes bad, I can just jump it and bypass it so that it actually still has that safety feature on it. So that's what I'm going to do next. And once we get it on there, we'll do a trial run, start the mower up with the seat on it, make sure everything's good to go, and we'll be back. Alright, so we have the seat installed, and a couple things about the seat. It is the adjustment arm here to slide back and forth, works perfectly fine, plenty of room there. Was only the only suspect thing that I thought about. This is the spring or shock adjustment for the suspension in the seat. It's got like a scissor suspension, so you can lift it up and down, and based on the weight, so for a heavier person you can run it all the way over here, a lighter person you can run it down a little bit, and you simply crank it and you see that red dial moving, and so you just adjust it, flip the handle up out of the way, and that's it. The armrests are also adjustable. This gray turn adjuster here, not really a knob, but you spin it one way and it lifts the front or drops the front, which will work great. So when you have your arms in, you can actually lift your arms, forearms, or your elbow resting here to be more in line with your steering bars. So maybe reduce a little arm fatigue on that, which is really neat. It has a flip down. If you lift this lever up, the back slides forward or back, so you can recline a little bit, sit it forward, and it's a little heavier than the other seat. But what I've got here, as you can see, there's our couplings on each side. Got it mounted in there. Got our 5/16 bolts in the bottom with some thread locker on it and a flat washer. And all I've got to do is wrap this and put it back in the loom. Just splice the wires for the mower seat switch to the wires for this seat. And I've tested it out, and that is exactly what it's for. So we know that that's functioning properly. Just going to get it taped up, keep moisture out of it. And if we have any issues, then I can just directly splice the wires together and bypass the switch altogether. But it's still functioning at the moment. And there you have it. We have replaced the original John Deere seat, non-suspension seat, with an aftermarket suspension seat from eBay. A little bit of fabrication, so it took a little bit of extra time. It's not just a plug and play, bolt and go setup, but we got it done. So let me know what you think. Kind of a blackout situation instead of having that bright yellow seat. But what I may end up doing is coming in here on the back of this seat, since it is metal, and put some reflective tape here on the back of the seat, since it has had the blackout on it. So that's it. So I'm going to put some blades on the Toro and have that ready, and then I'm going to wrap it up for this evening. Not going to do any footage of that. So I'm going to try to get all of this seat footage. I got a couple different days work, so I'm going to try to get all of that footage put together and make a video out of it. Y'all let me know what you think. I appreciate everybody who subscribed to the channel. We're getting close to 250, so I appreciate it, everybody. And thank you for taking the time to watch. Everybody be safe out there, and we'll catch you on the next one.